Hey guys, welcome back to the Bull Combo. Today we're going to be doing our first album review of 2018. We're going to be reviewing a brand new album that drops on January 31st. This album's called Harakiri and it's by a band called Versus Agora. These guys are an instrumental metal outfit out of Montreal, Quebec, which is in Canada for those of you that don't know. So go ahead and stick around. I'm going to let you know my thoughts and opinions on the album and why these guys just might be your new favorite band. Alright guys, so before we get started, I just want to ask you, if you like the content you're seeing here, please make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there below. Also make sure to click the little icon that makes sure you get notified of each video. That way you guys are seeing the newest content I post and I make sure that it's reaching you guys. So if you do like what you see, again, make sure to go ahead and click subscribe. Make sure to get notified of those new videos so you guys will see everything I post. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into this album. Actually, I had these guys reach out to me a few days ago and asked me if I'd be willing to review their album. This is the first time a band's actually reached out to me and asked me to review an album, so you know, I thought it was really cool of them to do. So I was more than willing to listen to the album and, you know, let them know my thoughts and opinions on it. I try to be pretty honest in my reviews, so it was a little different having a band reach out to me because, you know, what if the album's terrible? And I didn't want to, you know, I gotta say, hey, I just posted the album review about the album that I absolutely hate. Hope you guys like it. So, you know, thankfully these guys are amazing. I didn't really have any of those issues with these guys. They reached out to me, they sent me a copy of this album. I've listened to it for the past 3 or 4 days now, and I think it's really, really strong. So it's got 6 songs on it, which probably puts it more in the realm of an EP. You know, halfway between an EP and an album. It depends on the, you know, what you consider an album. Some bands have 8-song albums, so for 6 songs, you know, it's right on that threshold there. But it's full of amazing, amazing riffs. Now, the best way I could use to describe these guys would be a cross between early Intervals and maybe Jason Richardson. So if you're familiar with how Jason Richardson, you know, how he plays his style of metal, and if you're familiar with Intervals and some of their earlier stuff, this stuff kind of sounds like a cross between these two. There's a little less soloing. It's a lot more riff heavy than there is actual solos on the album. But overall, you know, the album is just chock full of awesome, sick guitar riffs. So yeah, we're talking 6 songs. The first song on the album is actually called The Aftermath. It's got some really, really strong lead lines going on, intermixed with some really cool underlying rhythms. They do a lot of transitions in their songs, so there's a lot of cool transitions between different parts. And I do find that they kind of keep a similar style throughout the entire album. They do also do a good job though of making sure that each song stands out. I noticed that each song has its own vibe on the album, and while it does make sense as a whole, and fits into, you know, what you'd consider to be their sound, I do find that each of the songs have their own organic feeling to them and have their own vibe that kind of sets them apart. So you know, in that regard, I feel like it's good that they didn't try to make the same song 6 times in a row. Instead, they tried to you know, pack as much creativity as they could into those 6 songs to really kind of demonstrate what they like to do as a band. And I think it really shows and really shines through on this. You know, for a band I had never heard of before, I wasn't really sure what to expect. But from the time I put on their first song, you know, I was really impressed. The recording quality is excellent, the mixing and mastering sounds great. I mean, I was listening to it in my car and it just sounds fantastic. So, you know, I think in that regard, these guys definitely have a really heavy-hitting first album to go off of here. So I'm going to post a link down below to their debut single, Samurai Tsunami. You can find it down in the description. This song was the first song I heard from them. As soon as they reached out to me, I YouTubed them instantly and tried to hear, you know, the newest song they had posted. And this song blew me away. The lead line in this song is just super, super memorable, to the point that it's kind of been stuck in my head for the past few days. So, you know, I think they've definitely achieved a sonic sound, and they definitely achieved something that's memorable and recognizable. So it's really interesting because it's their debut album, so we'll have to see, you know, where the band transitions, where the band moves over time, whether or not they change their sound or how they really refine it. But as a whole, I was extremely impressed with not only the level of musicianship on the album, but the quality of the album itself. So, you know, guys, Versus Agora, they're one of these brand new bands that are going to be coming out onto the 2018 scene, probably with force. So I would highly recommend you take a listen to these guys. Overall, I'm going to give this album a 4 out of 5. I know that's really high for an album from a band that I've never heard of before, and it's a debut album, but guys, this album is extremely catchy. Each of the songs on there have their own unique vibe. My personal favorites are The Aftermath, Dead Fish, and Samurai Tsunami. but there's a couple other songs on there that are really good as well. I don't think any of the songs are really weak overall. I think they all hold their own. I think they're all strong in their own way. And I think if you're a fan of metal in general, you're going to find something on this album that you can latch onto. There's just so much depth in terms of the riffs that they've added. A lot of different creative riffs. You know, more so than some of the current bands that are out there right now. I feel like in some regards bands have stepped away from riffs a little bit, and I know I've said this in some of my previous reviews about, you know, larger bands, is that some of them as they age, they tend to step away from those riff heavy songs and kind of bring it into the catchier note style songs. And I feel like you know, stepping away from those creative riffs really kind of makes it lose its wonder and its mysteriousness a little bit, and I think that's what kind of sets bands apart, is when they decide to stay with that sound and experiment inside of that. So in that regard, I think this album's really great. Again, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 for a debut album. It's extremely strong. There's no vocalist on the album. Vocalists can be polarizing, so in essence, I think that is a win for them, because really all you have is the instrumentals to make your opinion. So I think in that regard, it's a little less polarizing. The music's either going to be good or it's not going to be good to you. And because there's no vocalists involved, I think a lot more people may be drawn to it. I personally am a huge fan of instrumental style bands. You've probably seen my review of the Intervals, The Way Forward album on here. Huge Intervals fan. I'm a fan of Polyphia, of Chan, Jason Richardson, of Pliny. You know, I do appreciate those instrumental based bands, Animals as leaders. So you know, to hear another band come out, it's important that they have their own sound inside of that, because obviously you don't want to hear another regurgitated instrumental band. But I think these guys do a good job of sounding similar to things out there, but kind of harnessing their own style a little bit. And it really shows on this album. Again, I was really impressed for a debut album from a band I've never heard of before, and that frankly it doesn't look like a lot of people have heard of, because they're not too huge at the moment at all. They really released some really strong content on this album. So I'm definitely going to recommend you guys check out Harakiri by Versus Agora. These guys are sick. If you're in the Montreal area, make sure to check them out. I'm sure they're probably playing some live shows. I'll post a link down below to their Facebook page, so you can go ahead and give them a visit and make sure to like their page. If you guys, you know, if you come across an album that you want me to review, make sure to comment down below in the comments and let me know what you want to hear about. If you guys liked this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below, let me know what you thought of it. Again, I always love this feedback from you guys. There's been a ton of comments and likes lately from you guys, so it makes it really enjoyable. As always, I want to thank you guys for checking out this video. Make sure to click the subscribe button, like I said at the beginning of the video, and make sure to click the icon to get notified of new videos, so that we can keep this thing rolling. 2018 is going to be sick. So until next time, guys, we will see you soon.